Because it's not going to be me.
Well, I have many talents. Dancing is not one of my greatest ones.
Actually, if you ask the question, the bear can dance all he wants. Or she. No question? Why would you bring a bear up onto the stage? That's my question.
Why can't he dance on stage?
I have no idea, but if there's a naked lady in there, she's more than welcome to come
You know,
on.
I don't see that well either. Is there a bear up there? Should I start getting the hell out of here?
We actually only have a few minutes left. I think we should just stick with questions.
Okay, so do you have any superheroes that you have based on another superhero from a different company?
Have you ever created a character? Have you ever got something derivative of another existing character from another company? Have you ever ripped anybody off?
Not often. No, I'll tell you the one thing I ripped off. Two things I ripped off, and I'll be honest with you. There had been a character, I believe, called Daredevil many, many years ago, and it appeared for a while, and then they dropped it, and I loved the name. So when and it was totally different than our Daredevil, but I liked the name, and since it was available, I called our character Daredevil. The other thing that I was influenced by, that years ago there had been a character called the Heap. It was sort of like Swamp Thing, I think. It's just a big, heapy thing. I don't know what the hell it was. But I liked the word the Heap, and when I was looking for a name for the Hulk, I thought I liked the Hulk because it sounded a little like the Heap. But I never was influenced really by any stories or anything, usually because I never had time to read the other stories. I was too busy writing them. There you go.
Okay. Sorry, Bear, I apologize. Nothing
Well,
but...
there is a bear!
Next
What are
question.
you advertising?
Yes, sir. This is for Stan.
There's probably a book called Bear Comics. We don't know about it, and he's promoting it.
Question for you.
Yes, sir. I grew up with all the wonderful Spider-Man and all your characters in the 60s. And the one thing that appealed to me as a kid and a teenager was Peter Parker had the same problems I had as a teenager. Did you realize at the time you were sort of dispensing therapy?
I heard everything except it. I realized at the time what
You were dispensing therapy.
For teenagers.
Oh, I've always done that. Even the way I'm addressing you today, you don't realize it, but you're all going to profit by this. It's going to make better people of you. No, all I wanted to do with Peter Parker, I've always hated teenage sidekicks, and I was having an argument with our publisher, and he said, teenagers can only be sidekicks. Every character ought to have a teenage sidekick, because teenagers read the books and they like to read about a character like themselves and on and on. And one day I said, why can't a teenager be the hero? And he said, dummy, I just told you they're sidekicks. So I decided I would make a teenager the hero. And just for fun, I thought, why not give them the same problems that most teenagers have? Never enough money, not that successful with girls, on and on. And I don't know if you've heard this story before. I told it quite often at different places, but I went back to my publisher and I said, look, I want to do this story about a teenager who's got a lot of problems, and I want to call him Spider-Man, because I had gotten that idea. Well, my publisher looked at me like I was from another planet. He said, dummy, haven't I told you a teenager can only be a sidekick? A hero cannot have all those problems. I mean, don't you know what a superhero is? And you can't call him Spider-Man because people hate spiders. So you got 3 strikes against you. And that's why I had to bring out that book in, was it Amazing Fantasy? We had a book called Amazing Fantasy that we were going to kill. It wasn't selling well. Well, when you put out the last issue of a book you're about to kill, nobody cares what you put in it because it's the last issue. So I featured Spider-Man on the cover. I got Ditko to do it, and I put it out just to get it out of my system. And the book sold so well that my publisher came into me later when he got the sales figures. He said, Stan, you remember that character Spider-Man that you and I liked so much? Why don't you do it as a series? And that's how it happened. It probably didn't answer your question, but it reminded me of this.
That's a great story.